Yan can cook. In China, love means never having to say, you are hungry. In fact, when romance is in the air, you can follow it all the way to your dining table. You'll find, most likely you will find what I call ginseng chicken soup. This is something that when I was a little kid, my mom fixed it all the time, particularly after I got sick when I'm healing. Always fix this. It's called chicken with ginseng in a double boiler soup. Okay? Here, all you need is 4 half chicken breasts, slightly blanched, poached in water for approximately 30 to 45 seconds. This way, when you cook it, they would not have the little gummy coming out, so it looks much cleaner. Also, I have 4 pieces of this ginseng. See this? Also, I have a piece of lingji. This is Chinese medicinal mushroom. It looks like this. Look at this. It is very hard. You cannot chew on it. You cannot slice it. You cannot say, look at this. You can actually hurt somebody with this darn thing. But it got a lot of very, very wonderful medicinal function. So that's why people like it. Not only that, I also use about 3 or 4 pieces of this ginger and salt to taste. Very, very simple. Here, I'm going to use this gigantic dragon kiln pottery. Everybody know this darn thing dates back to 1,000 years during the Tang Dynasty. And it's a very popular cooking and serving vessel. All you have to do is put the water right in here. Put half first. In the meantime, I'm going to heat up a big pot of boiling water. And then we'll put the chicken, tuck the chicken in. Okay, tuck the chicken in. And also, slightly rinse this ginseng and put this in. Put it in, tuck it in. Look at how beautiful. 1 to 2 slices of ginger. You tuck it in very tight and fill it up. Tuck it in, make it nice and cozy. Is that romantic or what? And then you cover it up. You are going to steam it. Now this is a very unique cooking technique. It's called double boiling cooking technique. You put this whole thing on top of this big pot of water with exceptionally care. And then you're going to cook it. Oh, of course, if this is too hot, you turn the darn thing upside down. And then you cover this up and let it cook for about 3 to 4 hours. You gotta have the patience because it takes a long time to cook it, because what you're doing is use the steam to cook this whole thing. But then, love is something that you should not rush. So let it sit there for a little while. Now, here, I want to show you another dragon kiln powder. This is traditionally that they use for ginseng, but we have so many people. We all want to be healthy, so we will use the big one. Now here, I want to show you something you probably have never seen before. This is my crystal ball. Look at this. This is the preserved ginseng. Some of the ginseng cost about $100. Some of them go up to about $88,000 a pound. This one is probably about $3,000 a pound. Most expensive ginseng is grown in North Korea and Manchuria, and they are very prized. Not only that, a lot of people probably do not know that in North America, you can also find ginseng. It's the best-known oriental herbs. In fact, this is also grown as a very profitable agricultural product in states like Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, and most of them are exported to Asia. Some people in China believe ginseng prolongs life. Why others believe it adds spice to your romance. Whatever it is, it tastes wonderful. But most people believe ginseng is wonderful because it improves your metabolism. It also increase your vascular system, improve your vascular system. Also, it's good for your muscle tone. So it's wonderful. Now, when it's done, I want to show you how easy to serve these. Look at this. This is double boiler. I'm going to remove these, and I'm going to quickly show you how to serve these. All you have to do is scoop this out, and you have ginseng soup for two. Romantic dinner. You see this? Now, normally in a Chinese household, they only serve the soup. They would not eat the chicken. But I, most of the time, also eat the chicken. One of the most romantic spots in Asia is Hong Kong. We call it the Pearl of the Orient. Let's see the shines and the sign and the excitement at night. Hong Kong is an exciting place, especially when the sun goes down and the lights come up. There's so many restaurants here. If you eat in a different restaurant every night, it's going to take you 200 years to try them all out. Everywhere you turn, you see plenty of action, colors, and a lot of excitement. Asian tradition is mixed with the best of the West. And when it comes to romance, can you think of a more romantic place to have dinner for two in this beautiful floating restaurant? This floating restaurant was so romantic, I even go there by myself. Now, to add some more excitement to this romantic dinner for two, we're going to show you how to fix a sizzling ginger oysters. This is very easy. You need 8 ounces, 1 little jar of fresh oyster, 8 ounces, okay? And you need about 4 to 5 slices of ginger, okay? And also 1 or 2 stalks of green onion. Then the rest is very, very easy. But first, everybody knows in Chinese cuisine, there's a golden rule. What comes out of the water goes back to the water. First, we are going to blanch these first, water blanch. The idea of doing it is partially clean it up and also partially firm it up so when you stir fry it, they won't fall apart. See, this is wonderful. We'll put it over here. While you're doing that, in order to make it easy, we're going to set this aside. Put a tiny bit of ginger over here. Now, a lot of people don't know how easy it is to peel ginger the Chinese way. See, this is a piece of ginger, right? And you peel it like this. Because in China, there's no peeler, so they use this Chinese peeler. Look at this. This is how you peel ginger. You see that? Now, when you do this, make sure you're totally alert and you're not sleepy. Because you can be in trouble. You see, what you're doing is peel only the peel, not the ginger. So you don't waste anything. Thank you very much. We have a cheerleader in the studio. Unbelievable. Thanks a lot. And then you need 4 slices of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see? And then if you want, you can put the whole slice of ginger there because we're going to need a lot of slices. But just in case somebody don't like to have so many slices, so all you have to do is julienne this. Julienne all of these. Are you impressed or what? Look at this. And then we'll set this aside and put it over here. Now, the rest of this is very, very easy. Basically, you do not want to blanch it for too long, okay? We'll clean up this a little bit, make sure this is nice and clean. We'll pick this up and get ready for stir fry. Now, pick this up like this. Now, if you have a lot of time, you use a little baby spoon like this. If you don't have time, you should use a gigantic one. This is driving me crazy. But since I have so much time, see? Pick it up. This is the last piece. This is so good. I'm not going to miss anything. Now, look at this. You heat up the wok. Let us heat up this wok and start to cook. In the meantime, I'm going to heat up this hot plate, okay? When the wok is hot enough, use approximately half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon to another half a teaspoon of cooking oil. That's all you need. Shut this off. First, you put the spicy ingredient, ginger and green onion. Look at this. And then stir. And then put the oyster, which is already partially cooked, right in here. Wow, look at this. Isn't this wonderful? Sizzling. Stir. Do not overcook. And then all you have to do is add about 1 to 2 teaspoons of soy sauce and about 1 to 2 teaspoons up to a tablespoon of oyster flavor sauce and a touch of white pepper. Half a teaspoon of sesame seed oil and a tiny bit of Shaoxing wine or dry sherry. And then, last minute, put a tiny bit of broth. That's all you need. And then we remove these because we've got to get rid of these. Thicken it up. Quickly thicken it up. 1 portion of cornstarch to about 2 portions of water. Thicken this up. When this is up, shut it off because you are ready to serve. Now, look at this. Here, it's very, very hot. Let me also remove this because I don't want this to block everybody's view. This is so hot. I cannot believe it. And then, listen to this. It's going to be wonderful. A lot of people love raw oyster. There have been all kinds of stories about raw oyster. You know what I mean? I have no idea. Listen to this. To add excitement and make it more dazzling, we're going to serve this in this hot plate. Wow! How steamy can you get? I know what your next question is going to be. What goes best with a romantic Chinese dinner? The answer is, of course, wine. But there are many, many wine available. But in China, they have certain wine you probably have never seen before. So I want to introduce you some Chinese wine. This is what they call the green bamboo, 竹葉青. Now this is all made from cereal grain. In China, there's only one word for wine, 酒. Doesn't matter whether it's 12% alcohol or 40% alcohol or 75% alcohol. This happened to be 92 proof. Knock my boots off. Here is one of the most famous drinking wine, Wu Jia Pi, 五加皮酒, happened to be 110 proof. And here is the most famous Mao Tang wine, which is also 110 proof. This, if you think this is exciting, this is what Fan Chu, Fan Jiao, make in Tianjin, China. They drink them straight. This is our 130 proof. Here is the regular rice wine. The Chinese, my mother, either use this for cooking or for stir-frying or for simmering, also drink it. This is 80 proof rice wine. Okay. Here is the very famous Shaoxing wine, 紹興加飯酒, very famous in northern part of China. This is also Shaoxing wine. Here is 桂花酒. It's brewed not only with cereal grain, but some kind of 桂花 flowers. Here is the regular, they are even making a lot of grape white wine. This is white wine made from grape. And of course, beer is very, very appropriate for Chinese cooking. Now here, to add some excitement, we are going to 130 proof. But before I start tasting, let me finish up over there, otherwise I may not have the energy to walk over there. In fact, I was doing so well, they even give me one of these medal. This is a taste wine. That means when you go to all those winery. You taste wine, and then they give you a little medal. And I'm going to put it on. I'm going to taste that later. Now, to continue our romantic dinner, we are going to make a dish I call lover's prawn. Now, we are going to get totally committed. This particular dish is actually a combination of two dishes. You actually stir-fry two dishes and put them all together. It's wonderful. The Chinese yin and yang. Okay? Here, I have prawn, which is approximately 3/4 of a pound. Okay? Very, very easy. In the meantime, I'm going to heat up my wok. Heat it up, heat it up. Okay, get ready. I'm going to divide it into two portions. I'm going to marinate this with about 1 teaspoon of sesame seed oil, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, and also about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Also, a tiny bit of white pepper and cornstarch. I'm going to divide this. This is 1 for me, 1 for my other half, 2 for me, 2 for my other half. Make sure you divide the damn thing evenly. Otherwise, you're not going to have a lover's prawn. You're going to have a lover's quarrel. Put them all together, divide it in. I am going to show you. This is actually very exciting, very easy to do. I want everybody to pay absolute attention. I've never done this with 2 wok before. I hope I can do it. Now, here, I also want to get ready a tiny bit of ginger, okay? Because one of these, set aside. Set it aside. One of these, we're going to use garlic and ginger, and 1 prawn with salt and pepper. And that's all I use. Okay. Ooh, look at this. And then another one, I am going to also stir fry this. Oil, hot, stir fry. Stir. Stir. You might wonder why I use a little stainless steel spatula on this non-stick cooking surface. Because this is designed, very uniquely designed like a little record player. Got a little peak and valley. So you cannot really scratch the non-cooking surface, non-stick cooking surface. And then I use the tomato sauce, 2 to 3 tablespoons, and a tiny bit of chili sauce, and a tiny bit of sugar, and also a tiny bit of vinegar, nice and red. Okay? Another one, I use salt and pepper. That's all you use. That's all you did. And also use a tiny bit of Shaoxing wine. Wow, look at this. Wow, isn't that romantic or what? And then when it's done, you serve this. I'm having so much fun. I can't believe it myself. And then you shut it off. One, you put the, this is for yin. And then this one is for yang. Look at this, beautiful. 2 dishes, absolutely wonderful. Now, a lot of people always ask me, when you go out to a Chinese restaurant, how do you serve? I want to introduce you to a very typical Chinese setting. Here, you have a little teaspoon or serving spoon. This is a chopstick rest. You see this? Chopstick rest. And here is the soup bowl. See? If you go to formal banquet, you put it in a little silver container like this, on this saucer. This is Chinese soup spoon. And then you put it on top of this. Of course, I only have 2 of these. 1 for me, 1 for my other half. Now, also, they normally only have a little saucer with soy sauce. Because when you go to Chinese restaurant, normally you make sure the food is seasoned properly, so you don't need to season it too much later. That's why they only give you a teeny tiny bit of soy sauce rather than give you a big bottle of soy sauce. And then when you eat, this is how I'm going to show you. You eat, you pick this up. After you finish your soup, the waiter or the waitress would take this out. We set this aside, okay? So you have this little plate, okay? And then when you eat, this is how you do it. This is how you properly eat from a rice bowl. Pick up your chopstick, particularly when you are hungry. You sit down first, see, like me, you sit down. I'm sitting down right now. It's so comfortable. I cannot believe it myself. Unbelievable. And then when you eat, this is how the Chinese eat. You graciously put the amount of rice, stare at the damn thing, and put this graciously, push it in your mouth. You don't go like that, you go like that, okay? Never, never, like most Chinese restaurants, you go out, they serve rice in a rice plate, like this. Can you imagine they gave you a big plate, and you put all the stuff in there, you have to use your chopstick to pick it up. This is only done when people go on a diet, a strict diet in China, because it takes about 2 months to pick up all the rice. If you are served with a plate of rice like this is how you do it. You use a spoon, okay? And then you scoop this, put it over here. And then you transfer this, and you put it. This is how you do it. Never, never just go. Even you sit down, it takes too long. See, very, very easy to do. Now, in the meantime, I want to show you how easy to make another dish. This is wonderful for a romantic dinner for two. And in fact, after I finish, I'm going to invite one of the young lady I just met today and have dinner, candlelight dinner with me. She is only 24 years old. Now, I'm going to set this aside. Lover's prawn, isn't it beautiful? I'm going to remove these and get this out because I'm going to make a syrup. I'm going to remove all of these. So this way, it would not cause any problem. Here, I want to show you what I have here. I'm going to show you how to make champagne melon ball. Of course, no romantic dinner is completed without champagne. So that's the reason why I'm going to do this. Champagne. Now, first of all, you use this. Heat up this. I'm going to make the syrup. In this syrup, let me show you what it is. You have approximately, this is approximately half a cup of water. Okay? You use about 2 tablespoons to 3 tablespoons of sugar. And then you use about 3 or 4 slices of ginger because you want to make ginger syrup. Put it over here, and then bring it to a boil. Okay? You make a syrup. That means you can make this ahead of time, and you should chew it. And then you use a melon baller. I have honeydew. You can also use honeydew. You can use cantaloupe, or you can use also watermelon. You scoop this out if you are very much in love with melon ball, like me. When I was growing up, I loved all kind of ball. Ping pong ball, beach ball, graduation ball, I love them all. Some of the melon baller is a little bit smaller, okay? You scoop it out, and you use about 1/4 cup of, 1/2 cup of each, okay? Because it's only dinner for 2. Unless you want to invite another 2 for dinner, then it would not be as romantic. And then, when this is nice and done, you should chill it. And in the meantime, I want to show you how beautiful you can put the whole dish together. First of all, you scoop out the melon. Okay? 3 of these, 3 of these, 3 of these, 3 of these, 3 of these. And then also chop up some ginger, crystallized ginger. Okay? And then this is crystallized ginger, already chopped up. Put a tiny bit of over here, put a tiny bit over here. Get ready a tiny bit of mint leaf, because this is wonderful. When this is done, you use a little spoon. Chew this, use a spoon, and put this right over here. It's gingerly syrup, about 1/2 teaspoon or so. And then, when you are ready, sprinkle more candied ginger. And then when you're ready to serve, you pour the champagne. Just like give this melon ball a nice bubble bath. Is that romantic or what? Now today, we have fixed a number of wonderful, delicious, nutritious, and exciting, dazzling dishes for dinner for two. Very romantic. And I hope all of you go home and enjoy romantic dinner for two. If Yan can cook, so can you. Join in.